So this is your eighth class of first module, that is kinematics of machines or introduction to kinematics of machines. In the yesterday's class, we were discussing about different inversions of this single slider chain. Okay, so this is nothing but a single slider crank chain mechanism. Okay, and it is having one sliding page between a piston and the cylinder, and the remaining are a turning page. Okay, it means between the frame and the crank and the connecting rod and the piston. And after that, in the single slider only, so we have discussed what are the different types of links, starting from link 1, 2, 3, 4, which is similar to the IC engine. Correct? So this was discussed in the previous class. After that, we have listed 7 inversions, 7 modifications of this single slider crankchain. Out of these 7, the third one and the fourth one, they're the most important from the exam point of view. That is a crank and slotted lever mechanism, and one more is Whitworth quick return motion mechanism. In the crank and slotted lever mechanism, the connecting rod will be fixed, and in the fourth one, that is a Whitworth quick return motion mechanism, crank will be fixed. Here connecting rod is fixed, here the crank is fixed. That is a modification in the single slider crankchain. Okay, and both are the examples of quick return motion mechanism, and which are used in a shaper machine, which are used in shaping machine, or you can shaper machine, you can say. Just wait for a second. Yeah. Please let me know this screen is visible or not. This shaper machine.
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So this is the shaper machine, and you can see this this mechanism is known as a crank and slotted lever mechanism, which was discussed in the previous class. And we have seen the animation also. So this crank and slotted lever mechanism is also having a 6 links, 4 basic links, and the remaining 2 are used to connect with the shaper machine. And this was the animation. You can see it is having one circular path, circular motion, and one is oscillating type. Correct? Yeah. So this was the example of a quick return motion mechanism, because during the forward motion it will move with very slow velocity, you can say, because it has to remove the material from the workpiece. And during the backward motion, or the return stroke, it will come very fastly. Hence it is also called as a quick return motion mechanism, and we have discussed the different links starting from link 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see the connecting rod is fixed in this crank and slotted lever mechanism. So this is the connecting rod. Okay, as you are going to give the input to this crank, the crank starts rotating, hence the slider also starts rotating, as well as it will start reciprocating in the slotted bar, so that you'll get oscillatory motion of this slotted bar. You can see the longest link of all the 6, that is the slotted bar. It is oscillating from left to right and right to left, so that you'll get the output motion as forward and reverse, which was nothing but the application of a shaper machine. Okay, so you can see it is a forward reverse. Okay, so that is the ultimate output what we need from this mechanism. And after that, so this was the animation of this crank and slotted lever mechanism. After that, we have also discussed the second quick return motion mechanism, that is Whitworth. It is also same, the working principle is again same. So this mechanism again is connected to the shaper machine, which is nothing but a ram and cutting tool, because I want a forward stroke, that is called as a cutting stroke, and the reverse stroke as a return stroke. Only the changes says in this case, instead of connecting rod, the crank will be fixed. Instead of connecting rod, the crank will be fixed. That is the keyword of this mechanism, and you'll get two rotary paths. Okay, one is with respect to the point D, that is nothing but a slotted bar, and one more is the slider. Correct. And you can see during the forward stroke, the angle made by this slider, that is from C1 to C2. During the forward stroke, the angle will be alpha, and during the return stroke, the angle will be beta. Since the angle alpha is greater than beta, it means during the forward stroke, it is taking more time. More time means it is moving very, very slowly during the cutting stroke, and beta is less, it means the time is also less. It means it will return back to its original position very quickly within less time. So this was the application of crank and slotted lever mechanism as well as the Whitworth quick return motion mechanism. This was the animation. You can see the slotted bar is also rotating, the slider is also rotating. So this was also an animation of a Whitworth quick return motion mechanism. So you can see the application of this mechanism for the shaper machine. So these two mechanisms were discussed in the previous class. Correct. And in the today's class, let me start with the last one, that is a double slider chain. You can see this one. So this double slider is having two sliding plates of both the pistons or both the sliders, and two turning plates. It is also having four kinematic links, and this double slider chain is having three modifications. Those modifications are called as inversions, or you can say types of double slider crank chain. First one is elliptical trammel, second one is a Scotch yoke mechanism, then third one is Oldham's coupling, right? And we have discussed this one in the previous class, that is elliptical trammel. So this elliptical trammel is also having four links. Link one is nothing but a slider, can consider any one. So this slider is one link, this also one more link, and the link that connects both the sliders is one more link, that is AB, and I'll extend this AB up to point P. And this plus mark, you can see, this is a frame, this is a fixed frame. Correct. So similar to a railway track, so it is having a vertical groove and as well as a horizontal groove. In those grooves, the sliders are going to slide. Okay. In the vertical groove, the slider A will slide up and down, and in the horizontal groove, the slider B will slide from left to right. So that finally, when you're going to fix any pencil or point at this point P, it will trace an ellipse. It will trace an ellipse. The coordinate of this point P are X and Y. So the center, you can take this as a origin, and this is X and this is Y. Okay. And this was animation, you can see. This was the animation. Now also we have proved by using the equation, some derivation, I have proved the path traced by this point P is ellipse. Just wait for a second. Just wait for a second. Yeah, this one. When you consider this AP as a reference, and when you're going to consider this triangle, when you apply cos theta, you'll get X by AP, and when you're going to consider this small triangle with respect to link BP, you'll get sin theta, that is Y by BP. So after substituting and simplification, you can say that the equation what you got is nothing but an ellipse. X square by AP square, Y square by BP square is equal to 1, where AP is a semi-major axis and BP is a semi-minor axis. Correct. So this was discussed in the previous class. In the today's class, just take the heading as a second inversion, that is a Scotch yoke mechanism. Please write down this Scotch yoke mechanism. So So this one is a second inversion of a double slider crank chain. This is the second inversion of double slider crank chain. So better I'll show the animation first, then only it will be easy to explain this mechanism. So first let me show an animation, the double slider crank mechanism. So before that I'll show the elliptical trammel also. It will be easy to correlate with the first one and the last one. So this is nothing but the elliptical trammel mechanism. You can see the point P is tracing an ellipse. Whether this video is visible? Anyone please reply. This video is visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you can see the white color sliders, okay, so which are moving in the vertical groove and horizontal groove. And this link is nothing but a coupling link that connects both the sliders. And if you want one more video, you can see this also. Yeah. This is also same. So this square block which is having a groove, which is nothing but a frame, that is a link 1. Okay. And then after this, it's also one image of the elliptical trammel. So this is also same. And next what we'll do, we'll go to this second mechanism, that is Scotch yoke mechanism. I'll show the application only. Yeah, so please watch this animation. So this is nothing but a Scotch yoke mechanism. You can see the type of input motion is a rotary path, and whatever the output you are getting, it is reciprocating motion. So it is used in compressor to increase the pressure of air. Okay, the application is compressor. Also you can see the output motion is having a uniform velocity. You can see the output motion is always uniform during a forward stroke as well as return stroke. The motion is uniform, so that you can use for generating the sine functions also, or some harmonic functions. Okay, one more application is to generate the sine functions with the help of this Scotch yoke mechanism. You can see the red color disc, which is nothing but a crank, and you can see this red color dot. So this is a slider which is going to slide up and down, and this bar which is having a slot or a groove. So this entire element is known as a slotted bar. Okay, the first element is this frame. Okay, the first element is this frame, you can say. Second one is the crank, third one is the slider, and the fourth one is this slotted bar. So this is the application of a Scotch yoke mechanism. And one more is, you can see there's only one slider, as I said. So just leave about this piston. Piston will not come in the Scotch yoke mechanism. So you can see at the left part there is only one slider. So as I said, so this is the modification of double slider. Then what about the one more slider? So you can see that in this case one slider is fixed. That is not visible here. Better I can show with this mechanism, this video. Remember, in the Scotch yoke mechanism, out of those two sliders, one will be fixed. Just write down. Okay, just wait for a second. Yeah. This is also an example. You can see the rotary input motion is converted into reciprocating output motion. You can see there is only one slider, that is a black color slider. Okay, and this red color is nothing but this one more slider, it is fixed. When you consider a double slider mechanism, and out of those two sliders, if one is fixed, it will become a Scotch yoke mechanism. Okay. So for your convenience, I can show one more. Okay. So this is the double slider mechanism, correct? And if you're going to fix the frame, this frame is fixed, then it will become elliptical trammel. You can see. So this frame is fixed means it will become elliptical trammel. Okay, the point traced by this extension of this. It is not visible. Video.
No, sir. Visible, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you're going to fix this slotted bar, it will become an elliptical trammel. And when you're going to extend this connecting link, and it will trace a circular, this elliptical path. And instead of fixing this slotted bar, if you're going to fix any one slider, for example, you can see, you're going to fix any one slider.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, what is the doubt?
Hello.
Huh.
Hello.
Yeah, you can ask the
Sir,
doubt.
in
What is
elliptical mechanism, how to set? Sir, in elliptical mechanism, how to set the timing?
I'm not getting your question. In the same double slider mechanism, you're asking the doubt? Your voice is not clear.
Yes, sir.
Please ask the question once again.
Sir, in an elliptical mechanism.
Okay.
In elliptical mechanism, how to set the timing?
How to set the timings?
timing कैसे set किया जाता है इसमें?
Okay. In that case, you have to vary the length of this. Okay.
सर दो स्लाइडर है ना, उसमें दो स्लाइडर एक साथ कोलाइड हो सकते हैं एक बार.
Correct.
How to set the timing?
So you have to do the trial and error. You have to vary the distance between both the slider AP and BP. Okay. They will not collide because they are separated by connecting link. Okay. They are separated by some certain link, no? A connecting link AB. They will not collide. In your home, you can try this. If there is no connecting link, then there is a possibility of colliding each other. Okay. By varying the coordinate of this X and Y, and by varying the length that connects between A and B, so you can vary the this coordinate X and Y. Semi-major axis can get a bigger ellipse or a smaller ellipse. Sometimes you can get the circle also. Okay, if you are taking the midpoint of this slider, you take this point, midpoint of A and B, you'll get it will trace a circle. Okay, you can try in your home better. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. And as I said, so out of these two sliders, instead of fixing these slotted frame, if I'm to fix any one slider, it will become a Scotch yoke mechanism. Okay, just watch this. Okay, I'm going to fix second slider, this one. Just watch the transformation from the double slider mechanism to Scotch yoke mechanism. Yeah, just see the transformation. So this was the slider 2. It was fixed. Now the crank is nothing but the link that connects both the sliders. Now this crank is free to rotate, correct? Now this crank is free to rotate in a circular path. As it starts rotating in a clockwise direction, what will happen? It will pull the slider also, so that a slider will move up and down. As the slider moves up and down, this slotted bar also starts reciprocating from left to right and right to left. Okay, so that is the modification. You can see once again, instead of fixing the slotted bar, if you are fixing a slider, the slider is fixed. Out of those two sliders, one slider is fixed. Only one will be reciprocating. So that input is rotary and the output is reciprocating. Okay, so that is the one I want to clarify. And one more, if you want for better understanding, you can see one more. Yeah, so you can see this red color dot is nothing but one slider, and the black color one is nothing but a slotted bar, including this also, that silver color. Okay, it means the input motion is circular and the output is reciprocating. And if you want the animation, you can see this animation. Just wait for a second. Yeah, this is also example of a Scotch hook mechanism. Okay, you can see there is only one slider, this dot color. Slider means it has to rotate with respect to the groove. It has to slide as well as it has to rotate. It means the another slider is fixed. That is the point I wanted to clear. Then I'll go to the PPD again. So I'll explain once again the construction. So you can see this part, the link 1. As I said, link 1 is nothing but the slider. It is a fixed. You can write down. Okay, and this AB is a crank, which is nothing but the link that connects both the slider. As I explained in the previous slide, the link that connects both the slider A, slider B, is nothing but that connecting link. But in this case, it is rotating in an anti-clockwise direction, so I can call this link AB as a crank. Instead of calling connecting link, you can call this a crank. And this is a link 3, that is a slider B. And the last one is, it has to be.
Screen is not visible, sir.
What about others?
Sir, not visible.
Okay, please wait. I think there is a interruption in the internet. Please wait for a second. Yeah. Yeah, I think now the screen is visible. There was a okay.
Yes.
There was an interruption in the internet, so you can see. So this is a link 1. I can call it as a slider, which is fixed. This is a link 3. That is a one more slider. And if you're going to connect both the sliders, that is a link 2. In this case, it is rotating, so I can call it as a crank. Okay, this is a crank. As the crank starts rotating in a anti-clockwise direction, what will happen? The slider also starts moving in the groove in up and down direction. So finally, the output you are getting is nothing but the reciprocating motion of this slotted bar. Please take a rough diagram of this. Okay, just don't consider this piston. Okay, only consider these four links. Link 1 is a slider which is fixed. Link 2 is the crank that connects both the sliders. Link 3 is again the slider B, and this has to be 4. Make it as a 4, and it is a slotted bar. Slotted bar is nothing but the link which is having a groove, a vertical groove. Okay, as the crank starts rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, the slider will reciprocate in the groove in the up and down direction, so that the slotted bar will be pushed and pulled towards right and left direction. So finally, you can say the Scotch yoke mechanism is this one. You can see in the left bottom corner the animation. So it's used to generate a high pressure air in the compressor. Okay, and you can see the output motion is having a uniform velocity. So it is also by doing some modification, it is also used to generate some harmonic functions like sine functions. Okay. So I think this is clear. This is also one more animation. Okay, there is only one slider. Oh, the second slider is fixed. Okay, let's take the next one, that is a Oldham's coupling. Let's take a rough diagram. Okay, this is link 4. Let's take third inversion of double slider crankchain. Let's take a rough diagram of this one. I will try to explain what is exactly this. It means there are two shafts. You can see. So this is one shaft, the red color one at the left side, and this is also one more shaft. So you can see the shafts are not collinear. They are parallel to each other and they are non-linear. The axis of both the shafts is not same. They are parallel to each other, and if you want to connect both the shafts, so that becomes the Oldham's coupling. In this figure also you can see, so this is a driving shaft. You can call it as a link A, and this is a driven shaft. This is a link B, and if you want to connect both the parallel shafts, they're non-linear and they're parallel to each other. And if you want to connect those parallel shafts, so you have to use this coupling that is known as Oldham's coupling. I think you have studied in the previous semester or in this semester, that is a drawing, computer drawing, types of different couplings it will come. So it is known as Oldham's coupling. So the purpose of using this Oldham's coupling is to connect two parallel shafts. Just take a rough diagram. I'll explain once again and I'll show the animation also. Just take 1 minute time. Okay, so first draw one shaft, driving shaft. So after that, just draw one more shaft, that is a driven shaft. Okay, and this is the support. You can say bearing, support frame. So this support comes under one link, that is supporting frame, that is one link. So what I will do, at the end of this driving shaft, I'll connect a disc, a circular disc, which is known as a flange. Okay, this driving shaft along with this flange, it will form one link, and at the end of this driven shaft, I'll fix one more disc. You can see, I'll show in the next slide. Okay, for driving shaft, I have attached one flange. For the driven shaft, I have attached one more flange. Okay, that is a flange 2. Between this flange 1 and flange 2, there is one more piece, one more circular disc. So that I can call it as an intermediate piece. Okay. So for example, if you want to transfer the rotary motion from the turbine to the generator, if you want to connect a turbine to generator, and due to space restriction, and those shafts are parallel to each other, they're not collinear. The axis of both the shafts are parallel. In that case, if I want to connect both the turbine shaft as well as the generator shaft, I have to use this Oldham's coupling. You can see the animation here. The red color is nothing but this is a driving shaft, and the blue color is nothing but a driven shaft. Okay, and at the end of this driving shaft, whatever the circular disc is fixed, that is a flange 1, which is attached to the driving shaft, and this blue color disc, which is attached to the driven shaft, is known as flange 2, flange 1 and flange 2. And you need to couple both the flanges with help of a gray color one more disc, that is known as the intermediate piece. Okay, so in this way you need to couple both the parallel shafts, which are having a small distance between them, so that you can transfer the rotary motion from the turbine to the generator. Okay, so this is the example of a Oldham's coupling, and if you want the animated video, I can show the animated video also. I'll take another 10 minutes, please bear with me. So the third one is nothing but this Oldham's coupling, correct? So you can see this animation, it will be clear. So can you see this one? So this you can see, you can consider as a driving shaft along with a flange 1, and this flange 1 is having a horizontal groove. Okay, and this is the driven shaft along with the flange 2, is also having a groove. Between the flange 1 and flange 2, I am going to fix an intermediate piece. Okay, so that I can transfer the motion between the two parallel shafts, okay, whose axis is not linear. Okay, I can see from this side the intermediate piece is having groove on both the sides. Okay, and one more thing I want to explain is just wait for a second. Okay, I'll take another 10 minutes to complete this Oldham's coupling. Okay, so whether this PDF is visible, this PDF is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay, so you can see this is the double slider connect mechanism, and in that, if you are going to fix the link that connects both the slider, you can see this is the slider 1, slider 2, and if you are going to fix the link that connects both the sliders, then it will become the application of Oldham's coupling. Okay, so the modification of this double slider connect mechanism in such a way that the link that connects both the slider is fixed, then it will become a Oldham's coupling. For that, so I can show this video how it is fixed. Okay, yeah, so you can see this is one slider, this is one more slider. The link that connects both the slider, it is fixed. Okay, it means there is no relative motion between that link and the slider. Okay, the slider A, slider B, and the connecting link, they'll form a single link. Okay, even though when you consider overall it is rotating, but there is no relative motion between that connecting link and those two sliders, as explained here. Okay, so all these three, they will be considered as one link. Okay, and you can see this connecting link is rotating. Okay, can see. Okay, and one more thing is you can see this plus color slotted frame. It is also rotating. Okay, this is a driving shaft and this is the driven shaft. Hence, I can say that this is the modification of a double slider crank mechanism, such a way that the link that connects both the slider is fixed. So you'll get this kind of mechanism. If you want one more, the last one is the last video I can show to clarify the Oldham's coupling. Okay. As I said, okay, so this is the elliptical trammel. If you want to fix the slotted bar, this plus color mark, okay, it will become elliptical trammel. And if you want to fix the link that connects both the sliders, for example, this is the slider A, slider B, and this yellow color is nothing but the connecting link between slider A and slider B. If you want to fix this connecting link, just watch what is the kind of motion. You can see the entire slotted bar is going to rotate. You can see the connecting link is not rotating, it is fixed. Okay, so this is the side view. This is the modification of a double slider crank mechanism. And after that, you can see this is a slider A and this is a slider B, and these are the couplings. Okay. Again, I'll do the modification in such a way that, so this is also one shaft, one more shaft. So now finally, after modification, this will be the final result. Okay, so this will be slider A, slider B, and you are modifying the slider as a shaft. You are connecting two shafts, driving shaft and driven shaft, and this is the intermediate piece. Okay, don't worry too much about this one. Only thing I wanted to clarify is to get this Oldham's coupling, the link that connects both the slider, that is fixed. Okay, with that much. Okay. So in today's class, we have discussed three inversions of this double slider crank chain. The first inversion can see the elliptical trammel and the slotted frame is fixed. Yeah. Any doubt? Okay.
Sir, this elliptical trammel mainly where it is used, sir?
Once again, pardon me, your voice is not audible. Once again.
Sir, this elliptical trammel mainly where it is used, sir?
Okay. This was used in the olden days. If you want to, in the sheet metal industry, if you want to cut an ellipse, okay, if you want a metallic sheet of in the form of ellipse, okay. So those in the olden days there were no CNC machines, correct? In that case, if you want to cut an elliptical sheet metal, you can fix the cutting tool at the end of this point P. Okay, you can get the elliptical machining. Okay, now you got CNC machines. You can do the G coding and M coding. You can move the cutting tool as per your requirement. But in the olden days, so to get the elliptical machining, we used to use this elliptical trammel. Okay, and that is the application. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, and this was the second inversion, and you can see in the second inversion, one of the slider will be fixed, and this is the third inversion. In this case, the link that connects both the slider, means you can see the pink color, that will be fixed, so that you will get the Oldham's coupling. And Oldham's coupling is used to connect two parallel shafts. For example, if you want to connect a turbine shaft with a generator shaft, which are parallel to each other, you can place a flange 1 and flange 2 and one more intermediate piece. Okay, so this was about today's class. Okay, in the next class we'll solve some problems on degrees of freedom. Okay, so if it is clear, I'll wind up today's class. Okay, thank you.